Yo, welcome to the Peddling Pizza prep room. I'm going to make dough for the first time and I'm going to bring you along with me in my new Sunmix Flatline 30 mixer. I'm going to the market tomorrow. We're currently in a heat wave in the UK. It's horrendously warm in here. It's like 27 degrees. I've got ice cold water just there. I've got flour. Let's make a big batch. We're going to pretty much almost max it out. We're going to mix, I think, about 15 kilos worth of flour. So let's pull it out and let's show you. Right, so this is it. Under counter, under 85 centimeters tall. It fits under here. I mean, as you can see, it does poke out a bit, but it doesn't take up all the space. Now, this mixer is an absolute monster. Let me pull it out. So first things first, you've got this guard here. Now, this is a new addition to these because too many people apparently in pizzerias were trying to pull it via this. This is the safety guard, and they were basically wrecking it. So you've got this here, and you can just slide it out. Okay, I don't need to bring it all the way out. I only need to bring it to a point where I can lift this up enough like that. And that's fine. So, if you can hear, it's got a little click. Hear that little click? And that's basically the sort of micro switch that turns off the bowl and the spiral when you open the guard. But it's an absolute monster. Next thing to do is, now I've got it out, I've just got to lower down these feet. And these are going to steady it, basically, and stop it from sort of moving around, because otherwise you will get a little, let me just undo that a bit more, you will maybe get a little bit of movement if you don't steady the feet. So hold on a minute, let me undo that, because you want to just make sure that the mixer isn't going to dance around. My old one didn't have this, it was just on 4 casters and it used to like to dance around. So that is steady now, that is solid as a rock. See these are just magnets. It's pretty cool. Chris from Sunmix UK surprised me with these cool magnets that can just go on here. So I'm going to put one down here just in front of the, above the Sunmix logo, down up there or down there. Actually, we can put it at the bottom. That's quite cool. Right at the bottom, Sunmix Peddling Pizza. And then he's got me my Transformer logo and another one there. But yeah, let's get going. And down the side, you've got side mounting controls. You see it's ready to go. So it's a little bit dark down here. So you've got a, let me see if I can lighten this up a little bit. It's going to be quite hard. So you've got a winder here, and that is your timer. I'm going to put it on manual mode, and you've got a timer 0 or 50, I think it's 50 to 300 RPM. We're going to start it off on 50. And we're going to load it up. So let's measure our water. So for this dough, I'm actually going to go 61% hydration. We've got a very warm day on the market tomorrow and my pizza truck is going to be blazing. So I'm going to start off 61% hydration. I'm going to get my calculator out. Let's have a look. So prep room is like 26 degrees, 27. Living room out there, home kitchen sort of area is currently running at 23.5. I've got a mobile AC unit in there, which is cooling it down. Now, I'm going to keep that on most of the day. Then overnight, hopefully that room will be cool enough. So I'm going to shoot for 23 degrees as my fermentation temperature. The dough is going to live in bulk out there today because I'm at home most of the day today. And then overnight, it's going to be in my home kitchen, which is in that room as well. So I'm going to say about 23, I might go 24 degrees because I think it's not going to get much cooler than that. I'm going to go 23.5. We'll meet in the middle. 23.5. This is the gamble when it comes to like summer temperatures. So about 23.5 degrees, 23 to 24. I'm probably going to be about 0.4 of a gram of fresh yeast per kilo of flour I'm using. So I'm going to go with that, 0.4. We're going to go 0.4 of a gram. So if I'm using 15 kilos of flour for this mix, right, I've got my calculator here at 61% hydration. So let's have a look. So 610 grams of water per kilo times 15 plus 15 kilos plus 30 times 15 for my salt. That's going to make me 24.6 kilos of flour. 24 kilos, 600 grams. Divide that by 270. That's going to be 91 dough balls. I think that's more than enough to take to market tomorrow. We're going to take 90 dough balls with us tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. And I think that's a good amount to hit this mix with for the first time. This mixer could mix 30 kilos of dough weight, so hitting it with 24 is keeping it slightly under, which is perfect for a first mix. So for my yeast, I wanted 0.4, so 6.4 times 15 because we're at flour. So I'm at 6 grams of yeast, 6 grams of fresh yeast. That's all it's going to take. So what I've got here, little scales, right? These ones will weigh up to 0.01 of a gram. Cheap on Amazon, don't need something crazy expensive, okay? So actually, you know what? Let's weigh this on top of the mixer. It should be level enough. So let me turn them on. And in this pot, I've got some fresh yeast. Okay, so I've got some fresh yeast in here. Now this yeast is probably coming towards the end of its life. I have ordered some more, but it's still good. It's sort of at the kind of slightly tacky phase. So I don't know if you've ever seen fresh yeast, but fresh yeast looks like this. I prefer to use fresh. I just think it makes a better dough overall. I know whether it's good or bad. It smells nice. It smells yeasty. It smells ever slightly bready kind of thing. Like just smells okay. It doesn't smell off. It doesn't smell bad. It doesn't smell funky. The thing is, when you're using like instant dry yeast or active dry yeast, you can't really tell. It's a dry product. You've got to activate it first, or you've got to put it in some water, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of warm water, see if it's bubbly, stuff like that. This, I know this is going to make banging dough every single time. So I'm going to measure out 6 grams. I reckon that's probably 575, 6.07. That will do. Right, I'm just going to drop that straight in the mixer. Let's get rid of that. And then what I've got, where is my water jug? There we go. So I've got a jug here, large jug, and this is what I use for my water. So, got a bigger scale down there. Let me show you this. So if you look down here, just got a bigger scale. This is nothing special. This is just a salter scale, and this is going to help me measure out my water. So when I measure out my water, because it is very hot, what I've had is like a big 10-litre container in my fridge overnight. So what I need to do is I need to get, what did I say, 61% hydration, so 610 times 15. So I need 9,150 grams of water. So what I'm going to do, I've got my scale here, and this is very cold water. This water is currently, let me get my thermopen and just probe this jug of water in here. The water is currently 7 degrees, 7.6 degrees. So I'm going to measure it out. We've got our scale. Oh, geez, just massive amount of water just spilled everywhere. Right, so I'm going to measure out a load of water into this. This is a 3 kilo or 3,000 millilitres. So that's 2,910. So then I'm minus 2,901. Of course, I need 6 kilos to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour my my water straight into the mixer. And we're going to go again. This is quite exciting. I've been wanting a mixer like this for ages. Minus 2,649. Oh, wrong one. 49. So I've got 3,591 to go. Like, if it's this warm, you might want to start with some ice in your mixer as well. Like, it's so hot out here in the UK that, like, you know, my flour is going to be warm as well. So you might want to sometimes start with ice. So minus 2523, 2523 equals 1068 to go. And actually this is the amount I want to hold back anyway, so I should have just over a kilo of water, 1,068 grams. There you go, 1,083. I've gone over slightly, but that's fine. And I'm going to hold that amount of water back that I'm going to dribble in the mixer. So let's get some flour in. Got my flour ready to be weighed out. So what I've got is I've got 2 flour tubs here actually, and one of them has my stronger flour in it. This one, there's not much in there actually, and this is the Uniqua. So I want 15 kilos of flour, total flour weight. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to measure out. I'm going to go a little bit heavier on the stronger flour. So I'd normally put in like 10%. So that'll be 1.5 kilos for 15 kilos, and the rest of it would make up from the slightly weaker flour. But I'm actually going to go a little bit more. I'm going to go almost up to 20%. So I need, if there is 3 kilos in here, I need 3 kilos of this flour in here to start, and that's going to make up my 20% of the stronger flour, and that's going to let this dough sort of, it's going to make it stronger for longer. So if it is hot and it is humid in the pizza van, not only is it going to give it a little bit more extra flavour, it's just going to keep it, the fermentation stronger and hold it together for a bit longer. So we're going to go with whatever's in here, and I think it is almost going to be 3 kilos. It might be just under, but it saves me opening up a whole nother bag. That'll do, 2.8 kilos. So we are just under 20% of the stronger flour. And then the other flour I use is actually this one here. I've got 2 bags of it here, so I've actually got a bag in here already. Is this one. We're going to use the Molino della Giovanna Napolitana 2.0 version. So this is a 0 grade flour. The one that's in there is a Tipo 1. So we've got no 00 in this mix. This is going to be a nice strong flour, a nice strong mix. So that's 2,846 grams. So I'm going to minus 2,846. So I need 12.154 kilos of the other one. Now, there is an equation you can do to sort of get your starting point for your water temperature. So you can take a temperature reading of your flour, and you can take a temperature reading of your water, and then you can kind of know what your starting temperature should be. Like for kind of consistency, because I'm looking for a final dough temp of about 23 degrees. I might go a little bit less because it is so warm at the minute, but like that'll give you a guide kind of thing. So I'm just going to tip this whole bag in here. Now, although this is a 10 kilo bag, bags of flour can, especially like slightly bigger ones, can be off ever so slightly, you know. It's not an exact science when they are filling these bags up. So they can be off slightly, so I always weigh my flour out, okay? So what I've got this zeroed off here. So is it going to zero off for me nicely? Come on. Why is it not zeroing off? There we go. And I've got a large scoop here, so we're going to just start scooping flour into here. I know that each, like, one of these is about 4 kilos worth in this tub. And like I say, I always weigh my flour out. I just think, you know, it's a variable I don't want to mess with. I'm not going to dump a whole bag in. You know, I could have weighed that as 2 kilos of that and then dump in that one. Sorry. She should not be named, just sparked into magic. Minus 4132. So I need 8 kilos left. So I'm going to dunk that in there. And the beauty of this mixer, I should be able to dump all of my flour in at the start of the mix, and like it should be able to cope with it, even though no, I'm shooting straight to almost, I mean, it's probably starting point is about 58% hydration. You probably want to start at around 60. Although this is a large, sort of more professional mixer, it is just on a UK 3-pin plug. It's not 3-phase. So there we go, minus 4630. So I've got 3 kilos left to go. I am actually going to start that off now. So let's start that off on slow speed. Look at that, it's going. Right, let's get the rest of this flour in. So I need 3.92 left. So that's 1.3. Oh man, that sounds well smooth. 3.392, 3.257, 3.373. There you go, 3.4, that'll do. Right, let's get that in. Let's just lift this bowl up so I don't get flour all over it. Straight down and on. Right, let's bring you in and show you this. The mixer is a mixing. Look at that. Man, I'd normally not be able to do this much in my old one. My old one was a 25 kilo mixer. And like I say, I've got about 1,000 grams of water here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dribble some of that in just to help it along, because I don't want it to start at such a low hydration, but I'm going to hold back. Look, it's about 300-ish grams, maybe 300 grams there, held back. Right, let's let that mix and let's measure some salt. Okay, salt wise, just use the gastronome here. Let's zero that off, and we want what? We've got some sea salt here. Let's have a look. 30 times 15 equals 450 grams of salt. We're at 3% salt, so I'm just going to weigh that out. So 450 grams, 454. That's a bit too much. 450. There we go. 450 grams of salt. And I'm going to be using my thermopen to nail this temperature, okay? Oh man, that is coming together so nice already. Look at that! Dude, this thing's smooth. Just dribble in a little bit more. Now I'm not going to add my salt too late, so my salt's going to go in now because I don't want to cause too much friction when I'm at high speed later on, and I want that to mix in really well. So salt is going to go in now. So I'm just going to dump all my salt in, back on, and we're just starting off slow speed. Let me show you the way this thing's mixing. You know that water that I held back, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dribble a little bit of that in, straight down the middle of the spiral. It's going to start bringing it up. It's going to help me, help that salt dissolve. Just holding back a teeny little bit. Look at this. What an absolute beauty of a mixer. But I'm going to have to really keep an eye on the temperature because, like I say, it is warm in this prep room. That's bringing it together well nice. So I'm going to keep it on a lower speed setting until it's formed like a proper pumpkin, then I'm going to start to whip it up again. But like I said, I just got to keep an eye on that temperature all the time. So let's put the lid back on the flour. Got a bag of flour that I don't need. Didn't need to open that one. Salt is in. Everything's like that. Made a mistake once before. I remember one time way back in the day when I was on the bicycle. I made 2 batches of dough. I had a slightly older, smaller mixer. I made 2 batches of dough and I completely forgot to put salt in one of the batches. And there was I forgot to put yeast in one, and then another time I forgot to put salt. The one with no yeast was absolutely flat. It was terrible. And the one with no salt just had no structure to it, no strength whatsoever. So yeah, they were bad days. I've pretty much never made that mistake before. That's why I normally always get everything out before I start, and then if there's anything left, I know that I've messed up. Let me just temp check this. See, that immediately turns itself off. Okay, this is cool. We're at 18.4. I thought my starting point, so I thought my water when it came out of the fridge would be about 4 degrees, which it was, but I had it out in here for about 20 minutes, so it sort of started to warm up a bit. So, and my flour, I judged that to be about 23 degrees. So I thought my starting dough temperature would be around 17 once I've mixed the two together. Now this mixer will probably add about 4 to 5 degrees of friction temperature. So yeah, it's looking good. Oh my gosh, look at this. This has come together well nice. Look, we're already forming. A pumpkin is forming already. Mate, this thing's unreal. Look at the state of this. I'm going to show you some slow-mo. Okay, so we're ready to crank up the speed a little bit. So we're just going to get our little speed dial. We're going to just go up. Oh my gosh, this thing's so smooth. let's just dribble in the rest of our water. There's only a little bit left. Oh mate, look at the state of this. See how it's pulling it? You see how the dough is forming that spiral at the back there, and it's just grabbing the dough and it's mixing it in, forming that pumpkin. It's not letting it like rest at all, and it's ripping it around that massive ripper. Dude, this thing's a joy. Okay, this is so smooth. Like, compared to my other mixer, there's no movement in this whatsoever. Dream machine. Right, let's temp check it. Let's have a look. Let's open up that. Okay, cool. Look, 19. So we've got a ways to go. 19.2. Yeah, we're at a chord 19.2. Okay, cool. We can leave it in there for quite some time. Let it just do its thing. And say this is the first. You could see this was brand new. I had this arrive on Thursday of last week. It is now Tuesday. I haven't had a chance to use it because I haven't been making any pizza. So this is the first mix you guys are seeing. So I thought I'd bring you along with me. It's so nice to be able to like share with you the first mix. This is a custom color as well. This is Ferrari Rosso red. It's like Ferrari's racing red color, which is just sick. I've been using Sunmix mixers for basically 7 or 8 years now. I think 8. No, it might be more than that. It might be 8 or 9 years. I've been using like I had an old Sun 25, similar aesthetic to this, just smaller, 25 kilo, but like half the weight. I mean, that weighed 65 kilos. This mixer actually weighs 160 kilos. It's an absolute monster. Quite hard to move, but you know, it's a proper professional bit of kit. We'll mix enough for about 110 dough balls in one hit of my 270 gram dough balls. So yeah, I mean, this would serve as a small bakery. It would literally be able to do this back to back all day long. You run multiple mixes through this thing. It's always advisable to run them at about 80% of capacity, like I'm running now. It will just last longer, and you can just do a mix every 15-20 minutes anyway. So you have a look at the temperature in here. It's saying it's my thermopen's actually climbing. It's a 25-degree air temperature in a minute and climbing, which isn't going to help with the dough, but let's just have another little poke. Okay, we're at 20. What we're going to do is we're going to whip it up. So currently we're at, where are we at? We're about, that's about 140. Let's go up to 200-ish RPM. Mate, look at this. This is where the magic happens. Look at this. Check that out. That is a proper pumpkin. Man, even this thing's churning through. This is 61% dough, and it's absolutely mincing through it. This thing will mix all the way up to like 100% hydrated dough. You can churn some proper ice cream with this mixer. That's looking unreal. Right, let's keep an eye on that temperature. That's probably going to be up to like 21.5 now. There you go. I know, 21. Oh mate, this is okay. This is cool. So my old mixer would add more temperature than this. There'd be a little bit more friction. I guess it's because the motor was closer to the bowl, and so it'd add more. Like the temperature would climb quicker because the bowl temperature obviously heated up. But I'm guessing because the tolerances are tighter on this, it's keeping it cooler for longer as well. So in this kind of temperature, it would not have, my old one would not have done it quite so good. This thing's sick. You can hear it, the kind of noise changes. Let me listen to this. You hear that kind of whipping noise. That's when you know the dough's looking good. My gosh, that's looking amazing. Right, let's give it another temp check. I just really don't want it to climb too high. 22.5. 22.6, 22.7, just to make sure all that's off that spiral. There's a little bit of dough stuck to the spiral. Let's have a look. 22.7, right, we're going to take it a little bit further. We're going to whack that speed up, just so I can show you it. Have a look at this, only for a second though. Look at it go. Okay, that dough is ready. Look at that. See it relaxing already? It's starting to relax. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to give that dough 10 minutes. I always just turn my mixer off and I give the dough 10 minutes rest. So we're going to close the guard down. And it's always just for safety, I always do that, even though it's just me in the house. I always close the guard down anyway. And what we're going to do, we're going to turn it back to 50% RPM. I'm going to put the timer on. I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes. It's got a little timer. I'm going to go make a coffee, and then in 10 minutes it's just going to go ping like that, and I'm going to hear that ping, and that means it's time for me to come and give that dough one turn in there, and then I'm going to pull it out and I'm going to put it into these containers. So I use these like these are like 13, 14 kilo or 14 litre containers. I've 3 of these. I'll split the dough into 3, and then I'm going to put the lids on them, and I'm going to leave that in my living room overnight. And then that is I'm going to leave that in my living room until later on, or in my home kitchen in the other room. And then I'm going to ball it up at about 8 o'clock this evening. Like I said, we started the dough, it's 11:30 now, so 11:30, 8 o'clock this evening. It's going to be about 8-ish, 8.5 hours and in bulk. And then I'm going to leave it balled overnight, take it to the market, and then in the next video that you're going to watch after this one, which is on the market, hopefully it might be the next video, I've actually got a really big steak to cook, so that video is coming out as well. I'm going to cook a tomahawk steak on the dome, so stay tuned for that one. But let me show you this in 10 minutes time. Let's pull it out and show you what 10 minutes has done to the dough. But take a quick look at it now. So this is what it looks like now. You see, I mean, it's twangy, right? Look at this. It's like proper twangy dough. But I'm just going to give it 10 minutes rest for it to hydrate, and then it's going to go really smooth. So yeah, I'm going to go make a coffee. See you in 10. And as if by magic, 10 minutes later, we are back. I heard the ping from the other room, so it's time to give the mixer a turn. So check it out. As you can see, the mix has spread out a little bit. It is very strong. Look at that. It's got like very, very twangy. Look, very, very strong. Nice gluten strength. What I want to do now is I just want to strengthen it a little bit more. So we're on slow speed, and what we're going to do, we're going to give it one turn, and you're going to see. Let me just turn it back on again. Oh, is that? Oh, it's not on manual mode. Hold on manual mode. All right, there we go. And you're going to see it's going to just bring it together. One turn of the mixer, and that's going to turn it into a turbo pumpkin. All right, there we go. And that is enough. Now look at that absolute ice cream in there. That's tightened it up. That is ready to pull out from the mixer. So I'm going to pull it out from the mixer. We're going to put it in the tubs, and we're going to see it tomorrow. But look at that beautiful dough. Look at that. It is strong. It is silky smooth. Look how smooth that is. So at this point I normally just grab myself a blade. I do like to put gloves on for this, just because they are more non-sticks. One of the other times you'll see me, one of the only times you'll see me wearing gloves, my hands are clean, they are washed, is when I'm handling like dough out of the mixer and when I'm balling it up as well. It just means that it just doesn't stick to my hands, and it's very, very non-stick. So let's just pull the dough from the mixer. So I normally just grab some, take a knife, take a blade, cut it out, chuck it in one of the tubs. Probably could do with a better blade. You know what? Let's just bring it out. Oh my God, it's coming out super clean. There we go. Mount in there. Man, this is so nice. Dough actually doesn't feel too hot either. Let's give it another little turn. Bring the dough round to me. I'm going to show you how clean this bowl is as well. But a lot of people ask how you clean these things, because obviously the bowl is The bowl's fixed. You know, you don't want to remove the bowl. I find any mixer that has a removable bowl, you're actually just putting a weak point into that mixer that you don't want. Everything about this mixer is strength. It's supposed to be strong. Like even their sort of smaller ones, like the Sun 6. I've got one of the Sun Evo 6s. I'll show you that in a couple of weeks. I need to start doing some small mixes in that as well, and I want to show you a comparison between like big and small mixers. But let me show you this right now. Look at how clean that is. Like teeny amount of dough, and you can see like this, you can hardly fit. There's a teeny bit underneath there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just turn it on and spin it around. You see there's a little smear of dough that just came out from there, from underneath, that's stuck underneath there. I'll get a bit of paper or get something, or a blade or something just underneath there to get that out. But this just needs a little wipe out now with damp cloth, and it is clean and it is good to go again. It's that easy. Like if your dough is, like your dough mixer is of a decent quality, it's gonna mix like to a point where it's nice and clean, and it should just come away clean like that. So right now, if you have a look at this, I've got dough in the container. What I'm going to do, I'll actually put it on top of the mixer to show you this, because I'm not going to damage it. So what I do is I normally just tuck it under itself like this, and essentially, rather than doing this on the side because I haven't really got space, I'll just tuck it under itself and form a nice smooth dough. And there you go, look at that. That is nice and smooth, it's nice and strong, and that is going to have its bulk ferment now. So what should happen in about 8 hours time, this is going to settle down, and it will probably come up to about this line there, and then I'm going to ball it up. So I'm going to do it with those. I'm going to chuck it in the other room, and then I'm going to clean out the mixer. I'm just going to give it a wipe out, and it's going to be done. Hope you enjoyed this one. Stay tuned, like I say, for the next one is when I'm on the market, because that one's going to be good. We're going to have fun. I have got a little bit of a teaser. I've got a Wheel of Fortune, and we're going to do a little spin to win. So check that one out. That's going to come after this one. Should be pretty fun. But hope you enjoyed that new mixer. Absolutely banging. Let's see what this dough's like tomorrow on the market. See you later. Bye.